Hello, is your squad, is your god, your devil, Supreme Reaper, with part 5 of What If Deku Was the Shadow Monarch? Let's get into it. As Deku stood there in awe and amazement, realizing that he has powers, but the doctors said he's quirkless. He had no potential. He was as worthless as an ant. But every ant has a purpose in its colony, whether to guard the queen or gather food, or even to block the nest entrance. Every ant has a purpose in that large world of theirs. Even the most frail and small ones, the most pathetic, can become something great. I wonder what else I could do. With you, I could get revenge on Katsuki. I could take it back. I could destroy Katsuki with you now. All these years of being bullied by him, I have a way to fight back. No, I can't do that. No. That would make me a villain. I'm not a villain. I can be a hero now. I'll release you back into my shadow for now, Sen. As Sen kneeled and bowed to his king, he slowly was consumed by Izuku's shadow, returning to his dome, to his realm, his home. I should get home before Mom notices. School's probably out by now. Actually, I had the dumbest idea. As Izuku turned, running out of the alleyway, smiling widely. As he went to a train station that was barricaded, as he snuck inside, there would be a gate. A few days ago, this gate opened up. They said it's at least E rank. With someone like Sen, I should be able to clear it by myself. As Izuku cracked his knuckles, he took a deep breath in and exhaled. Let's do this. He stepped into the portal, shaking in excitement and fear. As he closed his eyes, he opened them to be in a cave. Okay, come on out, Sen. Seconds later, Senshiniru rose from the shadows beneath Izuku behind him. Sen looked at Izuku, confused. As he walked over to the cave wall, holding out his finger, carving words into the wall. He spelled out cave with a question mark. Izuku nodded. Yeah, this is a dungeon. Senshiro facepalmed, shaking his head. Come on. I want to see what you're capable of. Sen made an expression as though he was sighing. He stood up straight, and suddenly chains would form from Izuku's shadow, hovering around him. Wait, is this your skill? Sen nodded. So you can summon chains out of shadows. Sen nodded again. So it's not just that chain around you. That's just what you use for weapons. But you can make more out of only if it's out of shadows, correct? He nodded once more. Versatile and useful. Let's go then. As Izuku walked, Sen followed behind, with his chains flowing around Izuku in a guarding manner. Izuku could still see, of course. Suddenly, an arrow would fly at Izuku, but it would be split in half. As Sen appeared in front of Izuku with his hand extended out like a blade. As suddenly, a goblin riding a wolf would come charging out from the shadows with a hatchet-like blade. As it charged forward, heart snarling and growling, the wolf would lunge at Senshiro, going to bite him as Senshiro would put out his hands, grabbing the beast's jaw, locking it. As Sen would stretch his jaw out, ripping it off of its body, tearing the jaw from the skull. As he flipped the wolf, making its paws face the ceiling, the goblin would fly off. As Sen would... The goblin would get up quickly, charging at Sen with its hatchet, pulling it back to swing. As suddenly this goblin's head would be sliced with claw marks. As blood gushed, Sen would grab the goblin's head, ripping it off from its body. Izuku sat there like, wow, brutal. As Sen stood there straight, unfazed, as he went to the wall, carving something into the wall, Izuku went over, reading it. My one purpose, protect the Monarch. As Izuku raised an eyebrow in confusion, Sen pointed at the text, and then pointed at Izuku, tapping his chest. I'm the Monarch. Sen nodded, pointing deeper into the cave, raising his eyebrow, I guess, because he doesn't really have an eyebrow. He's kind of a skeleton. Izuku said, turned and nodded. Let's go deeper. But one second. Izuku walked over to the goblin's corpse, grabbing its hatchet. A surprisingly big hatchet. Nothing too impressive, though. At least I have something to defend myself with. Let's go. Izuku gripped the hatchet tightly. As they walked deeper into the cave, Izuku grabbed a torch, holding it high above his head, lighting the way further. As they walked, it was peaceful, surprisingly. Before then, snickering could be heard in the distance, growling. Suddenly, 15 spears would get launched at Izuku as Sen's eyes shot wide. She dashed in front of Izuku, slashing all of the spears out of the sky. As suddenly a whole horde of at least 30 goblins charged forward on their wolves. Sen stepped back, putting out his hand as chains extended. The chain wrapped around his wrist extended outward as he gripped it, swinging it like the Ghost Rider in a circular motion as it tore through the first row of goblins. As he whipped his wrist, making the chain go slack, he pulled his arm back as it flew backwards, nearly wrapping around Izuku as he whipped his arm forward, again smashing into goblins, tearing them into shreds. As suddenly a goblin wearing armor with a sword would charge forward on a massive wolf bigger than the rest. As it swung on Sen, Sen's sword would wrap around its blade, breaking it, as the goblin jumped off of its wolf, spinning around, smacking Sen over the head with the blunt of his blade. It barely even fazed him. While distracted, some goblins would charge towards Izuku as Sen would look, but then would get bombarded with arrows from the goblins as they would be attacking him relentlessly. Izuku gripped the hatchet with one arm, pulling it back, swinging as he covered his face, closing his eyes. As he opened, he looked to see the hatchet in the head of a goblin, crushing its skull, and as he gasped in horror. I just killed a goblin. I killed a goblin. Izuku went silent for a few seconds as he grinned slightly. I just killed a goblin. Yes. As suddenly Izuku looked up to see a notification in the air reading gained plus 20 experience. Izuku's eyes widened in a sort of confused fashion. 20 experience? What? Wait. Open menu. As suddenly a menu opened in front of Izuku, reading exactly as clear. Status? What the fuck? I'm level 0? That's lame. God, I need 350 experience to level up. I know what my stats look like. As he looked down to read his stats, of course, intelligence is my highest stat. God damn. What does sense do? Doesn't matter. Close menu. As the menu closes, Izuku will look forward. Just hit my head off my wall. Will look forward as a goblin would charge straight for him as he pulled his hand back, slashing forward, slicing the goblin's head clean off. Plus 20 experience gained. So I can level up by killing these goblins. As suddenly the chains around Izuku would become tighter, bursting out as they wrapped around the goblins surrounding him, crushing their necks. Izuku looked forward to see Sen crushing the skull of the goblin squad leader as he walked towards Izuku, kneeling. As at least 50 screens pop up saying plus 20 experience. So I need to do math with that real quick because he has 40 experience. As 20 experience windows popped up, plus 20 experience, plus 20 experience. As he's leveled up to level 1. As he gained, fuck you, 10 experience points. Status. Level 1 now. Huh. What should I put my stat in? Fatigue. It went up by 6%. Wonder what that does. Whatever. I guess I'll put 5 stats into my strength and the rest into my intelligence. Alright, let's keep going, son. Izuku walked deeper into the dungeon until eventually he reached a gate. As he pushed it open, he entered a ginormous camp. As there would be a ginormous green beast standing at the center with hundreds of goblin corpses surrounding him. As he held a ginormous axe. An orc? Is that the dungeon boss? Orcs are at least B rank or maybe A rank creatures. Think you could take it on, Sen? Sen shrugged, unsure himself. But that's where I'm going to leave off part 5 to what if Deku was the Shadow Monarch. I know it's shorter than the rest. Part 6 will be longer. Don't worry.